Anyways. And with that, hey everybody, how's it going? Alecandstuff here, and welcome to our Day 3 recap of E3 2018. We are back in our hotel room setup. No. He's dying over here. We are back in our hotel room setup. And we are here to talk about what we saw today. So, today is, what day is today? Thursday, the final day of E3, and I guess in commemoration of that or whatever, they opened the convention earlier than the previous day, so we got an earlier start than we have the past couple of days. And the first thing that I wanted to do today, that we both did today, was
Pokémon!
was get in line and play Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. Let's Go Eevee being the better of the two, obviously.
Let's go!
But no, so we walked into the convention and immediately sped over to Nintendo's booth to play that. There was a little bit of struggle and strife getting into the line.
Can we talk about that for a second?
At the beginning of the convention, but yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it because I'm over it at this point, but if you want to say something, go ahead.
The line was literally open for 5 seconds at a time, and if you tried to wait for the line to be open, like, the crowds would form around you, and then the person that was, had the closed, line is closed now, please come back later. They had, 2 other people with them. They were like, back away everyone, you must stay clear, you have to walk around, the line will not be opening for another couple minutes. Mm-hmm. And then, when the line does open up, because of course nobody's gonna leave when somebody says that, we want to play Pokemon, alright? We're dedicated fans out here.
It's the last day, I have nothing to lose.
I'll have you know, there was wars fought over that. We pushed and shoved away through that.
So,
we tried our best, we barely made it, man.
Essentially what was happening is the line was just so chock full of people, and in order to keep from the line wrapping around the convention or the area that they were in multiple times, causing a fire hazard, as the fire marshals told them, they would blockade the line and keep people from lining up after a certain point, and then once the line kind of gets to, imagine this is the end of the line, once the line gets to here, they'll allow this part to be filled up again, and that process of getting the people into that little section, look at that hand movement, that little section, was a little bit of a process. There was no official line to wait for it. They just kind of told you to just come back in 10 to 15 minutes, and there were still people lingering around, and people would push and shove to get into the line. But anyways, all the line stuff aside, the reason why, I think, a big majority of the reason why the line was so long is because the demo that we actually got to play was a total of 30 minutes. And that is a pretty hefty amount of time to demo a game, especially for a game like Pokemon.
Especially when there's only 8 setups.
Especially when there's only 8 setups, correct. So, in total, I think we waited to play that game for about 3 hours. And 30 minutes of gameplay. So,
30 minutes.
I have had no prior experience with this game other than what we played today.
Yep.
So, I'm just going to go ahead and hand it over to you first and say, what did you expect going into it? Did it live up to your expectations? And what did you think about Let's Go Eevee?
Well, first of all, I want to make this very clear. I expected 30 minutes of gameplay. And let me tell you right now, I guarantee you it was not 30 minutes of gameplay, okay?
Yeah.
Basically, all we got to play through was we were only allowed to explore Viridian Forest. If you left Viridian Forest, that was it. They cut you off right there. You've got to stop yourself. You're not allowed anywhere else. But, so I wandered around Viridian Forest a bit. When people talk about, I know probably a lot of you have heard about this, they removed random encounters. That's not to say that, you can't fight wild Pokemon. You can still fight wild Pokemon, but instead of being in the grass and eventually running into a random encounter in the grass, all the Pokemon are laid out in the grass. You could walk up to them RPG style and just
oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and just get into a battle with them. So it's almost like a kind of classic RPG sound.
Yeah, that is very RPG style now that you mention it. So, and I was actually very confused about that because I was in the line and I was like, I know people were saying there's no wild encounters. What does that even mean? Because I would see people battling wild Pokemon in the game, but literally that just means that you can see them rather than it just being a totally totally random encounter in the grass.
Yeah, but I think if I'm not mistaken, you don't battle the encounters from what I remember. Your only 4 options were get ready, item,
that is actually another good point
run,
too.
and something else.
When you encounter a wild Pokemon, your only option is to either catch it or run, which is weird.
Yeah,
and it seems like a lot of your experience comes from catching the Pokemon and defeating trainers.
Yeah, so here's basically the little consensus of the whole thing. So the overall world itself is pretty much Pokemon. Wild Encounters is Pokemon Go. Like, literally, it functions exactly like Pokemon Go.
It's literally Pokemon
you
Go,
can
just in a different UI.
Yeah, you could get. I saw people give them berries, I think, to make captures easier.
Oh yeah, I did that.
I didn't do that, but I know I saw that. And then you could either use the Pokeball that doesn't come with the game. Well, it's sold separately. The little Pokeball that you've seen in the trailers with that, it's sold separately. Super cool, by the way. It's also the Pokeball is also a joystick. I want to let that you know.
It is, yeah, like on the little button in the middle, there's a joystick that you can use to move your character.
So basically, honestly, you could just play the game just by moving around and clicking it. Click is your interact button or your A button, basically. If you don't have to worry about pausing or anything, like I can see all the videos right now. Pokeball only playthrough Nuzlocke. I can see it now.
That Pokeball actually was not quite as big as what I was expecting.
Yeah.
It's actually really tiny, and I think they gave us this. It's in my bag over here. They gave us this Pokeball, stress ball, for playing the game. And now that I think about it,
it's pretty much that size.
Pretty much the size of the Pokeball Plus that doesn't come with the game, that is available to play with in the game. Yeah, so it's really small.
So basically, you're literally just playing like this the entire time. And as far as, I don't know how your experience went, but for me catching Pokemon, every time I'd go overhand, it's probably because like my hand is on the diagonal right now, probably because I was throwing it like that. I would always throw the ball like off to the side. Mm-hmm. So I had to, you could underhand it too. I think underhanding was a lot easier for me. I'm just a plebeian.
So weird.
Okay? I can't
just underhanding it at them.
I can't
lobbing it.
I was just having a hard time overhanding the entire time. I'm such a plebeian. I call myself a Pokemon battler, like an expert. Yeah,
I know. What kind of Poketuber are you?
What kind of Poketuber am I actually though? Yeah, how is your experience with like catching Pokemon and battling?
So I think from start to finish, my demo experience kind of went like this. He noticed I'm not wearing it, but I have this Pokemon Let's Go shirt that I walked up to the guy with, and he noticed it immediately, and he says, "Well, how did you get that shirt?" And I told him I just put the key art together and put it on a shirt. He's like, "That was fast. I assume that you're wearing that shirt already, that means you're already a Pokemon veteran, so I'm just going to go ahead and give you a few guidelines on how the game works. Other than that, feel free to explore and ask me any questions if they come to you." So that was how my demo experience went. It was very, he didn't really interact with me much, which was okay, because I liked the fact that I could explore it at my own pace. Yeah. And so, yeah, as you were saying, it does take place all in Viridian Forest. He made it very clear that once you get past Viridian Forest, the demo just stops. He actually went up to the Switch and turned it off before I could see anything else. But in the demo, it's very much the same as what you were saying as well, where you're walking through Viridian Forest, you see the patches of grass, and the Pokemon are kind of just roaming on the map, and you can see them roaming on the map. And another interesting thing too, I don't know if you saw this in your demo, but the Pokemon that you see on the map, if they see you, they can run up to you and engage you first.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that actually has any implications as far as how the catching sequence goes.
Yeah. Again,
I didn't really
another RPG-esque kind of element, though.
Exactly, yeah. And then another thing about the wild Pokemon that are roaming on the map is they'll have certain auras about them, one of them being red and another one being blue. And if I remember correctly, the red aura means that the Pokemon's size is bigger than normal.
Yes.
And the blue one indicates that they're smaller than normal. And I believe, I'm not a big Pokemon Go player or anything, but I think the bigger the size Pokemon, the heftier their stats are, as far as attack, defense, what have you.
Probably, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm sure that affects their stats in some way, but you'll see those on random Pokemon here and there. And another question that I was asking him about, it was literally just me playing the game and just asking him questions that I had in my mind. And one of the questions I asked him was, how does what am I trying to say? How does co-op work? And he said, his response was, "That's a very good question. We do have some information out about that now. There's a mode where you can kind of drop in and drop out and play with others. But he really didn't give too much information other than that. I don't know if that means that there's going to be a separate mode all sort of dedicated to two-player. I don't know if that means that, you know, first player is going to have all the influence on where both trainers go and like who engages with what. I don't know. He really didn't give me too much information other than that, but figured I'd ask. And another thing I asked him too was, is the Pokeball Plus accessory, 1, a necessity, and 2, does it come with a game? You already answered that question at the beginning, was no, it doesn't come with the game. They're going to be selling a copy of the game with Pokeball Go Plus. Don't ask me about the pricing because I haven't really looked at it yet, but I imagine it's going to be a little bit more than the traditional game. So it doesn't come with a game, and in order to play with it, you can either play solely with the Pokeball Go Plus. So I didn't know this until he pointed it out. There's the joystick here on the center of the Pokeball, and there's also like a little button here on the top that's like your, like this is going to be your affirmative. If you click this is your negative. So if you're in menus, you can click to select with this one and then go back with the top one.
Yeah,
so
I saw that. I saw that little groove, but I just didn't press it. I didn't want to like. I didn't want to be like, oh, I broke the Pokeball. Here you go, Mr. Sir. I'll take the Switch controls now.
So I asked him about that, and that's what that was. But as far as battling goes and like actually encountering Pokemon, I don't know exactly how I feel about not being able to battle wild Pokemon at the moment. As we said, your only option is to capture them or run away. If you capture a Pokemon, you get experience for your whole party. So they're kind of bringing that mechanic back where you have this sort of pseudo experience share from the beginning, and like anytime you win a trainer battle or you capture a Pokemon, your entire party gets experience for it.
Also, I want to make a note on the fact that when you catch a wild Pokemon, there is a multiplier. Depending on how you catch the Pokemon, what the size the Pokemon is, you get an experience multiplier for the party. Yeah, the guy was actually telling me about that. It's like, pay attention to your like.
I saw that, but I was like, I don't know how that's determined.
So like, there's a bunch of factors. It works like Pokemon Go. Like whenever sometimes you have like a great toss or it's like first Pokeball, like the stats will like add on like for your experience. But in Pokemon Let's Go, it adds to the multiplier of your experience that you get for capturing Pokemon. So like if you get like something really good, you could get like a 3.6 experience multiplier.
That's nice.
For when you gain experience. And so that's pretty much how you're going to be grinding in Pokemon Go. You're not going to be battling Pokemon per se. You're going to be catching Pokemon in order to grind out if you run out of trainers to battle, if that is apparently a thing.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so as far as like encounters, battles go, wild Pokemon is just catch or run away. Trainers are still on the map. You can battle them. As far as I've seen, the battle system is mostly intact.
Untouched, I would say.
Like when you're comparing them to the main series games.
Yeah.
I don't know if like the Pokemon that you use maintain their hidden abilities or like stuff like that, egg moves. I don't even know like if all that stuff is going to carry over to these games. It seems very it seems like they're sort of blending the Pokemon Go and main series games, more so of the Pokemon Go portion of it, on the way that like the battles work and the Pokemon are presented in the menus. And that's kind of what I suspected going into it. But what was I going to say? Oh, right. The Pokeball Plus. I believe he also mentioned that you can transfer a Pokemon into it.
Yes.
What purpose does that serve? Like, do you get extra experience from putting them in here, or do we know?
All he told me was that is something that you can do. As far as advantageous stuff to it, I'm not very sure at all.
Okay.
All I know is that cool things about the Pokemon Plus is that, when you throw the Pokeball and you're catching a Pokemon, you could hear the shakes, and when you catch a Pokemon, you could hear the cry in it.
Yeah, he mentioned that when you catch a Pokemon, you can put it up to your ear, and you can hear it actually in the ball, which is cool, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know. Another thing that I was just thinking about to myself as you were kind of talking is I wonder if for like the catching mechanics, if you have to use like the motion control thing, or if there's an option to like use a stick.
Considering on how it's been working out for us, I highly doubt you won't be able to do it without motion controls, which is like.
See, I don't know.
I don't know.
That kind of strikes me as weird because.
It doesn't.
What if I'm in like a small space, or more importantly, what if I'm someone that has like accessibility needs?
That's something
those would be my main concerns. But I don't know.
Well, actually, is the Switch touchpad by any chance?
It is.
So
I wonder if you. Pokemon Go works that way. I'm sure it's probably possible. If I had to use my educated guess.
That's my only guess I got for it.
Probably. Not that it'd be a problem for me because I could do it anyway, but for others, I would just be concerned about that. But so yeah, and going into that demo, as I mentioned earlier, it was kind of like me just in a sandbox and getting to do whatever I wanted with the game. So naturally, I was like, oh, I'm gonna speedrun Viridian Forest and like see what's on the other side. Unbeknownst to me, I got to the end and then he was like, well, that's it. The demo's done. Can't let you go past Viridian Forest because we're not ready to show it yet. And I was like, dang it! I can't believe I just bamboozled myself.
I was so confused. I was like, okay, all right. So let me just go. I was like, let me just make a right here. I encounter a Pidgey. I'm like, all right. So I'm done with that battle. Let me just. I'm sorry, your demo is done, sir. I'm like, wait a minute. That was only 10 minutes. There's no way I was walking out for Viridian Forest.
It was funny too because he was watching me go through it, and like in Viridian Forest, there's certain places that you can go that are like coves, so not like necessarily the correct way to get out of it, but he was watching me go through the entire thing and he was like, you've done this before, haven't you? And I was like, a couple times. So he was watching me speed through it. He didn't say anything, by the way. He should have totally said that the demo was going to end if I got to the end, but...
Oh, he didn't tell you can't go past Viridian Forest?
No, he didn't. So I got to the end and I was like, well, all right. So I don't think I got the full 30-minute demo that everyone else was getting,
I probably did. I don't even know what I got.
So, okay. So, your experience with the game, happy, not happy, meh? What are your impressions on Let's Go so far?
Extremely disappointed. No, I'm really happy with it. I'm very excited for the game. I really can't wait for the release, and I'm excited to test out some new mechanics that they're going to be bringing, especially with the catching and the possible co-op. I would definitely see in the Pokemon Poketube community. If I would probably see like people flying over to people's houses, like, all right, let's go co-op right now.
I'm really curious on how co-op is going to work in that game because there's a lot of ways that you can just fudge up a co-op experience, and I hope that doesn't happen here.
Yeah,
I hope not.
Yeah, like especially if people doing first day co-ops, I hope they don't get disappointed. It's like,
well,
oh man.
Like my main thing is I just hope it doesn't end up being like a. Have you ever played like any of the 3D World games or like new Super Mario Brothers games? Like multiplayer?
Sort of. Yeah.
So, like, for that, if one player just drags off too far in the back, they, like, teleport them to the beginning, and it almost feels like if you're too slow, then you have no control over what's going on. So I'm hoping that first player doesn't have that priority, where if they're, like, me, speedrunning through Viridian Forest, like, the other player doesn't get that experience kind of muddied from me just being a little bit faster than they are. So excited to learn more about it, but I don't know. My overall experience with Let's Go is very mixed. I'm not a huge fan of Pokemon Go, really. I think it's great to like get community events going, especially with like the raids and stuff, getting parties together in IRL and kind of sharing that experience together in person. But as far as like a Pokemon game goes, I don't really think it has much to it. It kind of lost its charm with me after like about a couple months. I do like that they're still supporting it and adding new Pokemon, but it's also weird that Let's Go is gonna be almost exclusively Kanto Pokemon. I guess it makes sense because it takes place in Kanto, and I'm excited to see like Kanto in HD. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect, and like I don't know what kind of Pokemon experience I should be setting myself up for with Let's Go. I do like the way it looks. The art style is just phenomenal. The visuals look amazing. I'm sure the soundtrack's gonna be great as ever. But I don't know. I like that they are including ride Pokemon. Ride Pokemon's a thing. We didn't see that in the demo, but that's a thing that's returning. And they're not actually called ride Pokemon anymore, I don't think. I think you're just in the overworld and you can use them. in like areas that support it. I don't know. But we saw that in the trailer with like the Onyx and like the Charizard and everything. So.
7 out of 10, not enough Viridian Force.
Too much Viridian Force.
It wasn't. I swear. I was apparently.
I really should just like. I want to get a time machine, go back to the past, and be like, don't speed run this.
No, I want to go back and look at the stopwatch. Just like, was that really 30 minutes?
So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna remain positive about Let's Go. I don't know. I don't want to like be the pessimistic guy and just sort of go into it expecting garbage, because it's probably not. But I don't know. I'm excited for it either way. And just a little side note for everyone watching: if you don't pick Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, we're gonna fight. Even the lady working the line was like, "Yeah, Eevee's probably the better one." So yeah, that was our experience with Pokemon Let's Go. Later on in the day, it was mainly just sort of like doing and seeing the things that we hadn't over the past couple of days. We did the Overwatch Payload Tour, which was really cool. It's essentially like this green screen, and there's like a moving podium, and you can either do like solo or have a couple of friends. They'll give you props for all the heroes, and you can do like cool poses, and they'll superimpose you into the map and whatever. It's really like just for Overwatch fans. I don't imagine anyone else getting anything out of it.
I was Tracer.
You were Tracer. I was Brigitte. They gave me a shield and her mallet, mace, whatever it's called. Flail.
I got
rocket flail.
Yeah, flail. I got the 2 Tracer guns. That was it.
Her shield was like really heavy. So in like that little video we made, I was mainly crouching, but like there was one moment where I got up and it was hard to like get myself up because the shield was just weighing me down. It was crazy, but that was fun. We got like an exclusive pin for it. This, I guess, particular stop's theme was Zarya.
Yeah.
That's the notion I'm getting. Is she said it's exclusive to E3 in this particular stop, and I think like every stop that the Payload Tour has, it's a different hero.
I wish I got Tracer.
If I had to guess, but I main Zarya, so I was really happy to see that. And a little bit later on from there, we headed over to the Bethesda booth. And we didn't get a chance to go through like the Fallout 76 thing that they had set up. It's like this sort of vault experience where you kind of live the life of a vault dweller, and you get in line, you register to get into the vault, you go through like certain activities in the vault with other vault dwellers. You have like a little assigned group, as far as I could see.
Yeah, they have dedicated actors and cosplayers as well for the event.
Yeah, they were so dedicated.
You could literally ask them a question about the convention, and they will answer you directly in character.
They were talking like they were still living under the vault, and I don't know. But the whole thing was like you're going through Reclamation Day, and they give you all these cool like pieces of swag throughout the little adventure or whatever, and then eventually you come out with like a mask, Nuka-Cola Quantum, which is right behind me. As I said, I didn't go through it, but they were handing them out for free. They asked if I wanted one, and I said, sure. I already have one from Fallout 4's launch like a couple years ago, but I'll have another one. So, yeah, that was pretty much it for the Bethesda booth. I kind of wish they had Fallout 76 to try. I'm really excited about that game. But after that, we hopped over to the Fortnite booth.
Yeah, we hopped over to
the Fortnite.
We didn't play Fortnite. I'll let that be made clear right now.
Let's just make it clear, Alec does not really get the hype around Fortnite. He doesn't really play it that much. He'll play it sometimes, but like not to the degree that everyone else does. But you do.
Yeah, I play
every now and then.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it.
So that was
a couple
like
wins under my belt.
Yeah, and that was like another whole green screen experience thing where they had this like handlebar.
Yeah,
thing.
they did a green screen where you were jumping out of the battle bus, and you would go on your paraglider. That was a whole lot
they would
of fun.
green screen you, and then like it would look like you're kind of
gliding through
the air all majestically. Yours was pretty good because yours actually caught you falling off.
Yeah, I decided to follow up with what Alec and Elijah were doing. I'm not sure if they were doing that on purpose.
I fell off in mine, and it was not purposeful. I just like I lost grip on it. I guess because just so many other people were doing it before me that I don't know. It sounds like I'm just like being a ninny at this point.
It was perfectly fine for me. Like I could pull myself up fine. Like I let go on purpose because I wanted to see how it looked like if I just let's go skydiving.
But yours was good. Yours actually got you falling, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then after that, right next to it, there was another green screen thing where you can do like some of the dances and emotes from the game.
Yeah.
And it would have like the character from the game doing it and you next to them doing the same dance they're doing.
Yeah.
Ours turned out okay.
Yeah.
We wanted to do the dabbing one.
But he just
like,
kind of he was just
like selected it for us.
He's just like, okay, guys, go do it, and I'm just like,
and I was like, wait, I don't even know this dance. What is this? So
it's Jubilee.
I think it was as good as it could have been without actually having prior knowledge as to what we were even doing.
Check my Twitter at it's ShadowLink. I nailed Jubilation to a T. I just won't let that.
You did.
Won't let that be known. Okay.
And then to end off the day, after that we did a little bit of the My Hero fighting. What's it called?
Yeah, My Hero One's Justice.
My Hero One's Justice.
I'm a huge My Hero fan.
Yeah.
I don't read the manga, but I've been watching the anime, and like I'm all caught up. I'm ready for the next episode right now, and I'm not that good at fighting games, and I'm not the only fighting game I play is Smash, and like that's like in a whole category of its own. I feel like sometimes compared to a lot of other fighting games, especially with mechanics and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think I love the way the game looks, and from what I could tell from the minimal amount of other fighting games that I've seen and slightly played like maybe once or twice, I feel like My Hero is a little bit different. It kind of has a what are the Naruto fighting games called?
Naruto.
But like they kind of give me the vibe of like a Naruto fighting game. I played that like once or twice.
I can't remember the name.
And yeah, and I think it's gonna be really unique. Personally, I'm too much of a My Hero fan. I'm gonna pick that game up like maybe not day one because my wallet is hurting. It's crying, it's screaming and kicking for me. Stop spending money, Shadow! No, stop!
But My Hero stuff.
But My Hero stuff. Exactly. My wallet's gonna be hurting, but I'm gonna punch it and say you're gonna give me your money, and we're gonna play this game right now. So maybe I'll get into a little bit of into a little bit more into fighting games because of. But I personally think the game looks amazing. It feels pretty good. I just not very good with fighting mechanics. Like fighting game mechanics yet, so he trashed me, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. I just know how to click, jump, and punch.
Yeah.
That's it.
I am really like I haven't watched My Hero Academia yet, so I don't know if I'm a fan of it yet. But all I know is I trash you in that game. So, but that's I don't know. It feels like an unfair comparison because I played other games like Soul Calibur. What are some of the other ones? Street Fighter, Tekken is fun one, Mortal Kombat. So I've had some experience with other types of fighting games, but that game was all right. I'm sure I would have more of an attachment to it if I had seen the anime. So I'm probably going to watch that here sometime in the near future. So we'll see. And then after that, the last thing we did today was trying out Jump Force.
Jump Force.
Which, if I think that's basically just Shonen Jump Force because it takes a lot of shonen characters from like anime and manga and kind of fuses them all into one fighting game. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I'd say the Jump Force demo was really lackluster. I'd say the game itself in terms of graphics and the way it presents itself looks really good and it shows a lot of promise, but the demo itself, you only got to pick out of 5 characters, not even fight against each other, but you went single player and fought CPUs that would literally do nothing the entire time. They were like literally on easy mode, and you would be lucky if they hit you once. Like, that was it. Like if you were I guess that's for people, getting people into fighting games. They don't really know. I feel like they thought, oh, let's put them like a sandbox situation. They could test out combos and whatnot. But what ended up happening is just like you really got to play one game.
You just press one button to attack them and then they die.
And one against one CPU. And yeah, if you had no experience with fighting games and you were just like, oh, punching things works, like you would end up just punching until they just got knocked out and like that'd be it. Like, I figured out how to switch characters, like, halfway, and I was like, oh, I could, like, test other characters that I picked out. Oh, wow, I didn't even know that. Yeah, the demo itself was just, like, it was super easy, super lackluster. I feel like they could have maybe, I guess they weren't ready to present more, but I feel like they should have presented more, in my opinion.
I kind of felt the same vibe, too. It was kind of, like, meh. Namely because, one, as he said, there's only 5 characters that are playable in this demo, so The way it works is you pick your 3 tag team fighters to be on your side. So I picked, I think, Goku, Luffy, and Naruto or Frieza. I can't remember. So I picked those 3, and since there's only 5, the next 3 that you pick for your CPU opponents, one of them is going to be a duplicate, which is weird. I don't know why they couldn't just throw in another one just to, I don't know, diversify the match. But other than like not knowing how the mechanic, like how the gameplay worked in the demo, I also noticed that the game didn't really run very well. Like it looked beautiful. It wasn't. For one, it wasn't running at 60 frames. Yeah. And 2, it was running at a very variable frame rate. So if I was to do something like Goku's Spirit Bomb, it would start to chop up a little bit. Or if I did like a Kamehameha, it would start to chop up a little bit. And also, I was fighting in the New York stage, so there was like buildings on fire and stuff in the background. Yeah. So I'm sure that's maybe just the nature of it being an early build. Hopefully that gets ironed out before release. But the visuals look nice, and that's kind of what attracted me to it in the first place, other than Light Yagami being in the roster. He wasn't in the demo, but I wanted to fight as him.
I want Light Yagami, dude. I am excited for Light Yagami. But yeah, I think the demo would have at least been twice as good if they just let you fight like your friends or other people instead of a CPU.
Yeah, that was the only fighting game.
If they just did that, they would have been fine.
It was the only fighting game that was single player.
I'm just like,
it was weird.
Brother, what? But yeah.
So yeah, that was the end of our day 3 for E3 2018 and sort of E3 as a whole. Yeah. So that was the last thing that we got to do at this convention. Yeah. And I don't know, like this entire time, I think it was really fun. Yeah. I had like the time of my life here at E3 2018. I've been to conventions here in the past, and I don't think any of them will live up quite to what this year has brought me as far as gameplay goes, stuff I got to see, people I got to meet. Shadow was here also for this year, which was really, really hype. Before we go, do you have any thoughts on E3 since this is your first time being here? I know you've been to more conventions than I have, so.
As far as E3 goes, I think it's a great convention. You just have to... I didn't really have a plan going into this. I feel like you really need to have a solid plan and a solid sleep schedule if you want to be able to have a successful day. Because I feel like every day we got like 2 major things done.
And then the rest of it was just scrambling to see what we could do.
Yeah, like literally we would just spend hours, just pretty much either waiting in line or just, kind of just figuring stuff out.
One of those things that you definitely have to have a plan for.
Yeah.
And more like appointments.
Yeah,
so, like... Unless you plan on waiting in line, which we did for Let's Go Pikachu, but you don't want to do that every day.
Yeah, so I really doubt that anyone will have a super successful E3 getting everything they wanted to do to get done.
There was still stuff that I wanted to do, but it will never happen.
Yeah, unless you hardcore plan it out. But, I overall, great time. Glad to be with this guy right here.
Yeah.
And Electra as well. And it was, I feel like, I don't know, it's just a very complete trip, and I'd like to thank Alec for inviting me, because he's the only reason I'm here.
Do you have any, like, what are your favorite highlights of the convention?
Shellectra, obviously!
Dude, Shellectra, Team Shellectra on the Overwatch stream yesterday was so hype. I don't know if I'll be able to throw up any clips or anything in this video of that match, but it was super cool. We already talked about it enough yesterday, but that was super hype.
Yeah.
Any other highlights on your end, or?
Definitely Let's Go was one of my first waiting in line forever kind of experiences, but it kind of worked out. I enjoyed Smash, but I only got to play 2 rounds of it. I'm just like, I don't know what to say about the game because I got to play barely anything.
I wish I had given you guys more time. That's crazy.
And I waited 40 minutes for it too, even though I had an appointment. This man waited 10, and I'm just like, how? I almost waited. I think I might even waited an hour. I just I was losing track of time, and I had no cell signal in the line at all. So it was just I was just chilling, watching other people play.
Jeez.
But yeah, and then
highlights for me, I guess, were clearly the first day. I got to go to the Smash Brothers Invitational to watch the Splatoon 2 World Championships, which was super cool. The Smash Brothers Invitational, which was also super cool, and also got extended playtime with the game Smash Brothers Ultimate, which was probably the best part of that experience. And also just seeing other prominent members of the Smash Nintendo community was super, super awesome. It's always cool to see that energy and that electric excitement in real life. But I'll go into that in another video. And then also, Let's Go was super awesome. I was super curious on how that game was going to feel to me. I'm still, like, kind of working out my impressions on it, but I'm not going to go into that either because we just talked about that.
Yeah.
And then I want to say, like, the biggest highlight, or one of the biggest highlights also, just to kind of add on to those, was meeting ShadowLink for the first time. That was super hype.
This was my highlight right here. You're watching him right here, guys. The biggest highlight was Alec.
So,
man.
yeah. Wow, we are going on almost 40 minutes here. So, that is going to wrap it up for our Day 3 recap for E3 2018. Shadow, it's been a pleasure having you around for E3 2018 this year. It's been a super awesome convention. Probably not going to forget it for a very, very long time.
Oh, yeah.
And before I go, I want to give a huge shout out to Nintendo for hosting me this year at this convention. Would have probably not been as likely to happen if they hadn't been so kind and hospitable for me here. So, and inviting me to the VIP thing at the Smash Brothers Invitational was also super hype. So, huge thanks to them. They are amazing. I love my friends over at Nintendo. And oh, what else did I want to say? Oh, before I go, subscribe to this guy. ShadowLink here. Hey, what's up, everyone else going to ShadowLink here? Do you want to, you already did it yesterday, but do you want to just kind of give like a brief overview of what your content is and where people can find you?
Yeah, youtube.com/ShadowLink if you want to find some great Pokemon content. Currently working out this stuff on that, but I am currently working my way back into Pokemon content. Twitch.tv/ShadowLink if you want to see more variety in terms of streams and whatnot. I'm do a lot of Nintendo content, but I've also been known to branch out from here and there. So yeah, and yeah, that's where you can find me. Twitter.com/ShadowLink as well if you just want to say hi. What's up? How's it going?
And I will put links to those in the description down below. It is currently very close to the time that Shadow needs to take off because he's got a plane to catch here in the next couple of hours. So we're going to go let him do that. And, well, there's one other thing that I forgot. I can't remember what it was. I'm forgetting. You guys already know what it is. That's it. And that is, of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff. This is ShadowLink. And I will see you all again real soon. Bye.